Tiger fans, welcome to the debrief against the Blues, and what an amazing win that was. Who would have thought a 13-point victory to Richmond on Thursday night in front of 80,000 people at the MCG. It's a cause for celebration, so let's whip out a Seth Campbell backflip to get the show underway, as that was something very, very special that I'm sure is going to live in the memories of Tiger supporters for a very, very long time. It was unbelievable being there. Honestly, the atmosphere was electric. And as you saw from the video I posted up with Grok and I there, it was absolutely pumping. And to hear the players sort of say afterwards that they could feed off that energy and that vibe was really, really good. And that's kind of our role as the 19th man on the field, isn't it? Being able to you know, just egg them on and hopefully push them over the line. But these young Cubs and even the experienced guys, they all put together a collectively really, really good effort. Before we get stuck into the review of the Blues game, we're on our way to 2,200 subscribers. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. We appreciate all the love and support. But with that said, let's take a look at the game. Look, the first quarter it didn't go as well as we would have liked. I mean, we only kicked the one goal in the first quarter. And look, personally, I was wondering where our next goal was going to come from. The biggest issue we had, we just didn't have that connection from the mid part of the ground to the half forward area. We just couldn't complete that one final pass to then go inside 50. And Carlton kept breaking us down, and they were able to intercept it and chop it off. And then when we turned the ball over, we were just kind of lacking those defensive efforts. And the Blues were able to kind of pick their way up the ground just with some basic kicks to work their way up forward. So they were looking really, really strong in the first quarter. And we were kind of, I suppose, ultimately now, we were just trying to find our feet and settle in. But a credit to the coaching staff and the players for not being overawed by the moment, not being overawed by the scoreboard, as cliche as this sounds, to stick to the process and to just play a Richmond game and hope and bank on it's going to get back onto our terms. It must be an extraordinary hard thing to do when you look at the scoreboard and see you're 41 points down. But the boys dug extremely deep, and as a supporter, you can't help but be proud of the effort they put in. Let's have a look at the disposal winners quickly. Timmy Taranto, 30 disposals, really, really good game. Jack Ross, 28 disposals in what would arguably be his best game for the Richmond Football Club. He was super. Kicked 2 goals as well. 2 clutch goals, including that one on the run on the tight angle. That was amazing, and the crowd really erupted for that. So I'm super proud of and pumped for Jack Ross. He had a bit of a slowish pre-season, so to see him do this, it's well-deserved, to be honest. And I think it validates for me that he fits into the side. When he's got the other players around him to complement his game, he's going to shine. So that was a really good game from him. Jacob Hopper, 22 disposals, 6 tackles, 3 clearances. Thompson Dow, 22 disposals, 9 tackles and 4 clearances. And I think 5 of those tackles might have been in the last quarter. Easily his best game for the club, and there cannot be anyone who knocks his game from Thursday night. It was good. He had a couple of clearance kicks that maybe turned over, but Jesus, everyone in the AFL does that. But it was his endeavour, his chasing, his hands in close. And it looked like he had a bit of speed on some of his opponents as well in comparison to Carlton players late in the game. Such a shame he didn't nail that goal on the run. I really understand from his perspective why he wanted to hit that goal. He probably could have dished it off, but I get why he wanted that moment. And he probably deserved that moment after the game he'd put in to date. So well done, Thompson Dow. You play like that, you can't not get picked. 9 tackles, I think it was 27 pressure acts. That is a tick in every box, I reckon. Nick Voston, 21 disposals, 8 marks, doing his general intercept marking role down back. He and Broad both really helped settle us down back, which was amazing to see and much needed. So well done to Voston. Toby Nankervis, big captain's game, 21 disposals, 35 hitouts, 7 clearances, 6 tackles, 4 marks and 2 goals. I mean, I know he's getting on the older side, but Jesus, he puts in a huge effort week in, week out. He is without doubt a spiritual leader. And a game like that exemplifies why the players in the club were more than happy for him to be captain in 2025. De Koning's a very, very good ruckman in his own right. He's going to be a superstar. But Nank really played a good game. Thought it out. Didn't let De Koning get off the chain around the ground. And to kick 2 goals, he kicked the first goal for us, which was, we really needed that for a bit of reward for effort. And then that tin-ass goal out the pack, well, you know what, we'll take those because we concede enough of them along the journey, so we'll finally take one back. But that was good awareness and a good finish from Nankervis there, but I was really, really proud of his game too. Sam Banks, 21 disposals, 2 tackles, 2 clearances. James Trezise, 19 disposals, 2 tackles, 2 clearances. He was probably our leading disposal getter, I reckon, for the first quarter and a bit. And there was a couple of turnovers here and there, but you know what? Carlton's pressure in that first quarter was quite good. And it would have been it's a big stage for someone who's so inexperienced and so young, but he really settled into the role well. Had a couple of good important plays at the end along the wing with some underground handballs, pushing to the next contest, absorbing some contact before releasing the ball to free someone else up. Just some really selfless things. They're small things, but they all add up in a team game. So I think he's definitely done enough to put his hand up to have that wing spot again next week, or maybe for the next 2 weeks, to be honest. But I really thought Trezise put in a good shift there. Jaden Short, 19 disposals, 5 marks, 4 tackles, 2 clearances. The 4 tackles is probably the stat for me that stands out. I guess defensively, there's been some little knocks on Shorty along the way, but that's really good to see. And he went back with the flight a few times as well. So I thought he was a really strong part, an integral part of that back six. So good for Short. Sammy Lawler, the debutant, first game, 18 disposals, 2 marks, 2 tackles, and 2 goals. And what a player he already looks. I mean, he's just so strong in the hips. He was able to walk through tackles. And for me, and Grok and I were talking about this at the game, it was his awareness to give those release handballs in an inside 50 and just outside 50 to release plays to have shots on goal in better positions. I feel like that a lot of other younger players might have just wanted to have that moment themselves early and try and bust through and snap that goal. But he was smart enough to know, no, there's someone else in the chain that's in a better spot that's going to be able to finish the job, and just gave the simple handball out, but it was just clean. Carlton players struggled to tackle him. I mean, his first goal, out the back, runs onto it, sat perfectly for him. At the punt road end, how much more exciting could it be for a young kid on his first game? And the punt road end just went absolutely ballistic, and rightfully so. And then his second goal at the later stages of the game, we're talking about, we've just come back from a 41-point deficit. We've tied the game up, and this young man on his debut has taken it upon himself on a great bit of play and a great bit of pressure to then finish off the work himself to put the Tigers in front for the first time. It was, I want to say, a really mature moment in some ways, because he did have options on the inside he could have handballed to, but he showed confidence, he showed class, he showed poise, and he got the job done and put the Tigers in front. And again, the stadium erupted. It was so loud. And from there, we just didn't look back. You can't be unhappy about his debut. He was super, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does in the future. That was really, really good to watch. Camden McIntosh, the black headband version. I tell you what, if Richmond do not make black headbands with 33 on it and sell them in the store, they're crazy. That is money for jam, that is. Look, I thought he did a really good job on Patrick Cripps. Now, I do want to say that Cripps still had a good game. He still had his 30-odd touches, which we said was going to happen. But I think what Camden was able to do that we didn't do in previous years, he was able to limit the impact and the devastation of those possessions of Patrick Cripps, which is a really, really important thing to do. So he might have still hit some targets here and there, but I think Camden was able to quell his influence significantly to the point where it was able to help get us back in the game. I don't think Cripps scored a goal. He had a couple of attempts and both were shut down. So Camden, I think he's absolutely found a role for himself as a tagger. We've been screaming out for 6 years to have a genuine tagger, and I think in this developmental phase of our football, it's a really important role to have to try and nullify an opposition best midfielder. And I know there's going to be arguments, but why can't we let a kid do that? But you know what? I don't want Sam Lawler to do that. I don't want Josh Smiley to do that, because I want them to play their natural game and have their natural flair and abilities on display, because that's how they're going to develop and grow. Let Camden, in the twilight of his career, sacrifice his own game, which we already know he's good at. He's happy to sit on the opposition best player. He's physical, he's quick, and he can actually hurt him the other way by starting chains of play. So I think that is the perfect role for him, and kudos to him for nailing it. I think that was exceptional. Luke Traynor, 15 disposals, 5 marks, 2 tackles, 2 clearances. This kid looked like a 100-game player. Gee, that was hard to say, wasn't it? My goodness. That's how excited I am. I can't even speak about him properly. But he showed some great poise and great maturity, and showed exactly why he was touted as a top 5 player early on in the draft. Late in the game, he had a couple of times where he had to make a decision to stay on his man when the ball was coming over the back quickly, or to leave his opponent to push up to the next contest and impact it. Now, when you make those decisions, if you don't impact that contest you run to, you're pretty much exposed, and it's almost a guarantee shot on goal for the opposition. He committed to that, made the impact, won the ball several times, and started a counter-attack for us. It's it's just wonderful to see a kid feel so at home and so at ease to be able to do that. And even other small things like when a senior player would mark the ball in the back half of the ground, he would maybe recognise a difference, or in skill level, maybe he felt he was going to be a better kick on the run than whoever had the ball. So he's got the confidence to run around, call for the handball to get the ball moving. He just has a great footy IQ. And let's not forget that 50-50 contest on the half-back line in the last quarter, where he's sprinting 50-60 metres in a one-on-one tussle, dives on the... well, doesn't dive on the ball, but gets the ball forward and helps get it over the boundary line for another stoppage so we can set up and start again. That stuff is so critical, and it's, you know, games like Thursday night, these young players, it's almost worth 25 games of development. You just can't underestimate how big these moments are, and Luke Trainer's going to be a star, make no mistake about it. Ben Miller, 13 disposals, 6 marks, 1 tackle, 3 or 4 goal line saves. Again, similar to Thompson Dow, no one can knock Ben Miller's game on Thursday night. He showed exactly why the club pick him on a week-to-week basis. And I really do think a lot of supporters got hung up on his last 5 games of 2024. And some of his pre-season in 2025 wasn't so great, to be fair. But if you look at the bulk of 2024 for the first half of the season, and we've said this before, he was in the top 10% in the AFL, not just Richmond, in the AFL for halving and winning one-on-one contests. So that is a valuable trait to have as a defender. It's almost your main job description, really. He did a super job on Harry Mackay when Blight went off. To see him outposition and outbody Mackay a couple of times was really, really pleasing to see. He had the confidence there, hitting passes as well. If we see more of this Ben Miller, we'll be absolutely laughing. That was a really good game from him. Tom Lynn, Jets lunchtime. What a great man to have back out in the field, honestly. It just shows how much difference he makes to us structurally. And even late in the game where he's running up the ground, taking a big mark on the wing so we can get the ball inside 50. Worth his weight in gold, and I really hope we get this suspension overturned. He was shoved into it by Wiedering, and there was no damage done, no harm done, so I feel like we're going to appeal it. But yeah, Lynch's impact on the game was quite good. He was able to free up players like Bauer and Armstrong to do their thing too. And it goes without saying that he is one of the most important players in our side. Nathan Broad, 11 disposals. Again, similar to Vlosten, had a really, really good and composed game down back. Our back six, I thought, played pretty well for most of the night. Ryan Mansell had a really good game. Hopefully he pulls up okay. His tenacity and just how ferocious he is chasing the play with the ball, it sets the tone for us. It's really, and I don't like using the word because of the play it's associated with, but he's really a barometer in some ways with how he goes about it. Tom Brown, clutch mark and goal, my friend. He is a wonderful, wonderful prospect. Beautiful kick of the ball. I love seeing him and Jaden Short take kick-outs, how they'll run and gain 15 metres and then kick it another 65. And we're essentially on the wing with one kick. So I don't mind that at all. But that was a clutch moment for a young kid to step up and nail that goal. Was wonderful. So he will go from strength to strength. Jacob Bauer, only had the 9 disposals, 4 marks, 4 tackles though, which is really good. But for me, the thing that epitomised his game was the late spoil on the wing, where Wiedering was centimetres away from taking a mark and to provide another forward 50 attack for the Blues. And Bauer came from about 15 metres back and just was desperate, got to the contest, punched it over the line, and we could reset it. It's that type of bind and that type of defensive work from a forward that's really going to help us out from a team perspective. Seth Campbell, the man, the backflip man, 8 disposals, 7 tackles, 1 clearance, and a goal. 2 goals. 2 goals for Seth. His last quarter, you have to go back and rewatch it if you haven't already. The work rate that he puts in, running from contest to contest to contest to apply pressure, to tackle, goes to ground, gets back up, goes again. The work rate there was absolutely exceptional. And you've got to take your hat off to him. And then to see that last goal where he was about 15 metres behind the Carlton player, he had no right to get to that. But the genuine speed he had to get in front, to finish the goal, and to then do a backflip was just crazy scenes. And I'm glad he did the backflip. I reckon it was a great thing to see. But it was almost like a big moment game for him, wasn't it? He was really good. And I'm hoping we see plenty more of that to come. Tyler Sonsie came on as sub. And you know what? Because of how we were playing and the tempo we were playing at and the intensity we were playing at, Tyler Sonsie came on and matched that. Like, he didn't come on and fall a little bit under. He was in and amongst it straight away, getting some good possessions, hitting his targets. He was bodying up plays, jumping up for marks that he knew he probably wasn't going to mark, but he was able to ensure the opponent didn't mark the ball, and it came to ground so we could, reset or collect the crumbs on the deck. I thought that was a really good sign from Sonzi, and I personally think he done enough, even in that limited time, to ensure he gets picked again. He's making good decisions. He matched the intensity level, and you couldn't ask for much more for somebody just come onto the ground. So well done, Tyler. Steely Green, 7 disposals, 5 tackles, 2 marks. He's just nipping around at people's feet, and again, it's the pressure that he and Mansell apply that turns into being perceived pressure at some point in time. And you could see the game shift because of this type of pressure. In the first quarter, like I said earlier, the Blues could pick us apart and work down the line, but by the end of it, they were dump kicking a lot of kicks down the line, which plays into our strengths. So that kind of pressure is why that happens. Jacob Light, six possessions, 3 marks, 1 tackle, obviously went off injured. But when he was on the ground, I thought he did a super job on Harry Mackay. He did well on him last year and did well again this year. He's only going to get better with experience and age. He's showing some super promising signs, and hopefully he pulls up okay, because it'd be great to have him in again against Power, but he was really good. And Harry Armstrong, again, like his Collingwood game, it's a 5 disposal game, it's a 1 mark game, but Jesus, it was an impressive game, and it might sound really bizarre because he didn't kick goals, didn't get a mass amount of possessions, but the way he's prepared to crash packs and to throw his body around is just exceptional, and doing things like that, mark my words, will get him picked week in, week out. So for so many years, we've had problems up forward where our forwards won't mark the ball, but they won't bring it to ground. The opposition will mark it, and that's a momentum killer. He is just an absolute bulldog fighting for that, for tooth and nail, and I love what I saw, and it's just a moments. It'll be not long before he gets on the end of a goal himself, but that last moment in the game where the ball was on the boundary line, 2 Carlton players are over it, and then he goes in, bumps one off, picks it up, and has the awareness and the smarts and the composure to spot Jacob Bauer in the goal square, hits him with a laser, Bauer does the rest and finishes the goal. Most first game players would be forgiven for having a shot from there or for just bombing it in high, trying to get it into the hot spot. To actually be able to, lower your eyes in that instance, in real time, in real pressure to do that, is a really good sign. I think that was a super game from Harry Armstrong, and I don't want to feel like I'm getting carried away when I say that, but I was really impressed with his composure, and I think he's gonna definitely play again in the next coming weeks, and I really hope he gets his first goal sooner rather than later. So that's all the individual players. From a team perspective, there's probably one stat in particular I want to highlight from a team perspective, and it's the tackle stat. We had 76 tackles in that game. Now, I haven't had time to do the research on it. I can't remember the last time we laid 76 tackles in a game. It feels like it's been years. Maybe there was 1 or 2 occasions in the last couple of years where it might have happened. Part of me doubts that, though. I definitely don't think we did it in 2024. But 76 tackles to Carlton 70, that is a huge number. And that's the kind of effort and intensity we want to see each week. That's what Uze's talking about. Tackling and pressuring, they're things anyone can do, no matter your skill level. That's what anyone can do, and that's the level of expectation. So, Richmond Football Club, well done. You proved a lot of us wrong in a really, really good way. But there was a lot of people questioning the game plan and things like that. I think we now see exactly what we're going to be trying to do. Will we see it on a consistent basis? Probably not. And Uze said that himself. It's the nature of the inconsistency of a young side. But if we see glimpses like that, and if we don't have the games on our terms, if we see that fight, grit, and determination, I think we're going to walk away happy most weeks, knowing that they've busted their ass for 4 quarters and they've put in a really good effort, because that's all you can ever ask of the players. But honestly, to get a 13-point win against the Blues was unbelievable. Super proud of the boys. It was an amazing atmosphere. It was awesome to be there. Let us know in the comments below. What did you think of the game? Who were your favourite plays? What were your favourite moments? I want to hear all about it. And yeah, looking forward to jumping on Monday night for the live show, so make sure you check us out then. I'm sure the boys have got plenty to say about this one. So until the next video, go Tigers.